I'm thrilled to announce that SKAARHOJ now offers integrated control for the Canon XF605 using the powerful XC protocol. We have unlocked access to a wide range of parameters, giving you precise and seamless control of this wonderful camera. And what's really impressive is how much control we have achieved to get out of this camera in this market segment. And as you'll see in a moment, our integration ensures that you'll get the most out of XF605 also as a camera in live production. This is RCP Pro, our flagship camera control product. What do you need it for? You need this, primarily the joystick, but also all the knobs and the displays to control this camera. If you're making live TV production, in that case, you need many cameras to look the same, and it's essential to be able to do that from a control room far away from the camera. Let's just turn this around so we have a nice target for our camera here. So, let me see, it's not gonna be entirely level, but this is going to be just fine for today. Yes, so you can see it's already, like right now, a pretty cool image from this camera. One of the things that we will usually do in a control room is to make sure that we control the iris, the lens of the camera. And you can see the joystick here does exactly that. On a professional RCP joystick like this one, you'll also find a ring, and with that ring, you can adjust the pedestal. It's actually shown in the display right here. So the pedestal is actually duplicated a few places. You also find it in the exposure menu. There you have it at 29. So you'll find that value many different places, but typically for an operator, you have that pedestal at your fingertips here. The pedestal is like the dark areas of the image, and you see it very closely, very vividly on this image from the camera, and we can adjust that with the joystick. Now actually, if we move the joystick all the way to the front, we get a little bit of an overexposed image, and it turns out that it's the gain. The gain is set pretty high. We can turn that down, and now I'm already demonstrating what we can do from the menu up here. So let me give you an introduction. In this menu, we have 8 encoders. They correspond to fields in the display. So it's really, really easy, this mapping here. And if we go through the menu, you'll see in each one of them, there are some settings that we can apply, and we'll look at those individually in a moment. And in some cases, like in the exposure menu, there's even an additional layer. You can access that by using the shift button here. So notice what happens. I'm pressing shift now, and it turns out that we have additional 8 things we can set inside of this level. I release it and we're back to like the normal. So the home menu, this is where we usually put what we consider the most relevant for you in most default cases. If you disagree, you can actually change it. We have a web UI for that. Let me just quickly introduce to you. This is Reactor. This is coming straight out of the RCP Pro, and this is where you can do live adjustments. You can also add more cameras. In fact, this is an RCP that has the capability of adding additional cameras, so you can add more devices. If you do that, you can discover them on your network. You can add them manually. If we search like camera, there's gonna be a ton of cameras that you can add like this and then have as second cameras on it. That's not the topic for today, but inside of configuration, we'll end the video by me showing you that you can actually add your own stuff to this camera. Okay, but getting back to the RCP, in the home menu, we've put white balance. And if I turn this knob, you'll see that I'm changing the white balance mode of the camera to daylight, to tungsten. And there's a slow change now in the picture from the camera as I'm changing to different white balance modes here. Now back to auto. We also have red and blue gain that we can apply. Let's just do that in maybe in auto mode. I would expect it to give us some offset here of the image. So now you can see we're offsetting with some red gain, additional red gain, and subtracting some blue gain, which will paint the image slightly differently. And a little feature that is nice to know, many of our parameters will reset. If you press and hold for a second, it's gonna reset the parameters to 0. Yes, we also have pedestal. So pedestal, again, is the darker areas of the image. So if you look at the darker areas of the image, you may be able to notice that they are getting more reddish as a consequence of me turning up the red pedestal here. Now I'm just going to reset it back again, and you saw dark areas of the image just came back to the default. All right, but it's up to you. You're the artist, you're the guy, girl, that has to match up all these cameras to look the same in a nice live production. Let's move on to the exposure menu, and One thing you saw both in this and the other menu was the gain is sitting in the same place. So often in other menus, you'll find that the home parameters are also found in here. Like for instance, in the color menu where you'll find the white balance modes that we had on the home screen is also replicated. In fact, there's only like pedestal number and also the black gamma level, which is broken out here and adjustable from these knobs. Again, any change on these knobs is going to change parameters. Inside of this one, we have ND filters, a pretty cool feature for a camera like this, motorized ND filters. We have different levels of f-stops for the camera, basically. So you can adjust how fine grained, you can adjust the iris of the camera. That's pretty cool. We can move on to knee and audio. So you see, as I'm talking, audio level is measured in percentages. Okay, what? But anyway, we have knee on off, and we have knee settings that we can adjust here if we want to. We have matrix settings. So again, our matrix the color matrix is, I would call it advanced, right? And in this menu, obviously, you can change all these parameters. You can also reset them all to 0 back if you press and hold. Now I'm just doing this in pairs so that we are back to 0 again. I just wanted to show you that we have these quite extensive set of features available for a camcorder style camera like this one. In the focus menu, we can turn on and off autofocus. If autofocus is on manual, many of these additional parameters are blanked out, if you will. They are not available, indicated by this little symbol, and that's again classic SKAARHOJ. We're gonna tell you if that parameter is available. So now you can have eye detect. You can also choose the type of autofocus mode, how responsive it's gonna be, how fast it's gonna be, if you have AF lock on or off, etc. All those features are in there in the focus menu. Moving on to noise, we have a noise reduction mode, auto or manual, and filters available for that. I'm not sure what every one of these means, but they are available, they are there, and you probably know them if you own this camera. In the OSD menu, this is where we can turn on and off the OSD of the output from this camera. So that's already clear to us, but we can also change what kind of information we see, like if we want the menu. So now I can actually navigate forth and back in the menu in the camera in case there's something that is not broken out on the RCP. But it's a sort of last resort thing. So let's just exit this one again and dial it back to none. So we see the stuff we did just a moment ago. We have presets we can recall in here. Not something that I want to deal with in this video though. And I'm actually, to be perfectly honest, the XC protocol is designed for PTZ cameras, or maybe just cameras in general, but we use it for a lot of PTZ camera control with Canon's awesome PTZ cameras. So maybe some of these settings would relate to that. I'm not 100% sure, but this is probably the different user buttons that you find on the camera that you can execute by pressing or holding these dials. Plus, we are bringing out some information about focus speed, zoom precision, etc. on the camera. So let me just change the zoom. And we'll see zoom precision is updating on the display here. So that's essentially the RCP. And now I promised you that we could make use of some of this area for other things that we are interested in. So let's just look at the configuration page. And if you just look at the pages down here in the bottom, because I've chosen what is called the Canon Cinema Camera Adjustment section. In this section, we have the pages that I'm actually going through right here. So if I choose the homepage, you see it's also changing over to homepage here. I just eyed out that in the preset section, we have a bunch of encoders, which doesn't really have any functionality. And encoder number 8, if I press this one, on this right side, you see the XF605 parameters that I can map down to it. You see there's a lot of stuff in here. So it's just, you know, hunting down the parameter that you're interested in, that you want to map out onto this particular button. Let's take ISO gain mode, you know, whatever that is. Maybe that's not exactly what I wanted to have. I had something in mind just a moment ago. Yes, I thought color bars was fun. So let's just put color bars on. I can now turn on and off color bars output from the camera. I could also, by the way, if I put this into simulation mode, I can also do it from the web UI belonging to the RCP Pro. So actually everything I can do with hardware can also be done through the simulation or the configuration tool here inside of Reactor, which is the software again that runs on the RCP Pro straight out of the unit. To stay updated on all our latest software and hardware innovations, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, or you sign up for our newsletter, or you can follow us on social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram and X. And if you have any questions, our amazing sales and support team is always ready to help you. You can find all the links you need in the video description below.